In the last video, we saw the benevolent rule of Lavinia. We talked about the rise of Ascanius and the creation of the city Alba Longa, which was ruled by a succession of kings down to the brothers Numitor and Amulius. We discussed the birth of the twins and their exposure, during which they, according to tradition, were suckled by a she-wolf. It's important at this point to discuss another source of information regarding Roman history, that is, Dionysius of Halicarnassus. Dionysius was a contemporary of Livy's, writing in the 1st century BC. Like Polybius in the 2nd century BC, Dionysius was a Greek attempting to explain Rome and its culture to the Greeks. Dionysius is generally considered a less reliable source as far as accuracy. However, he goes to great lengths to include every tradition then told, and includes many more traditions than Livy does. Dionysius is also less critical of what he includes and is considered to be a less reliable source as far as historical accuracy than Livy. Dionysius has been called by many the cut-and-paste historian due to his uncritical inclusion of all the stories and information that were floating around during his time. Me personally, I appreciate Dionysius because knowing the stories that the Romans told themselves and that other people told of Romans, whether historically accurate or not, tell quite a lot of the psychology, and particularly the things that were valued at the time. Regardless, Livy is the base text for this commentary, so I will be using Dionysius sparingly. Now back to our story. Concerning the twins, not much is known of the twins in adolescence. Dionysius says, when they came to be men, they showed themselves both in dignity and aspect and elevation of mind, not like the swineherds and the neoherds, but such as we might expect those to be who are born of a royal race and are looked upon as the offspring of the gods. Faustulus gave to the twins the names Romulus and Remus. They were very successful herders and made enemies of many of the other locals. During this time, Latium lacked structure and a police force and security that the later generations would come to rely on. Many other inhabitants of Latium during this time relied on robbery for their sustenance. The twins, in fact, gained a reputation for overtaking robbers and redistributing their spoils amongst themselves. At the same time, the Lupercalia was celebrated, and the twins were preoccupied with the festival. The Lupercalia was a celebration of the god Februus and a ritual purification in the month of February. According to Livy, this is also considered the holiday to Pan, or Inus as the Romans called him. During this festival, young boys wearing only a loincloth would run about the Palatine Hill, whipping those they came into contact with, as a symbol of purifying them during this celebration. Livy states, quote, when the young men were occupied in this celebration, the rite being generally known, some robbers, being angered at the loss of their plunder, laid an ambush for them, Romulus and Remus, and although Romulus successfully defended himself, they captured Remus and delivered him to Amulius as a prisoner. Remus, unknowingly being brought before his usurping great uncle, the king of Alba, is himself charged with pillaging the lands of Numitor, his grandfather. This event brought the secret origins of the twins to light. Faustulus used this opportunity to tell Romulus the true story of their origins. Remus, too, met his grandfather Numitor in the court of Amulius and explained their origins so that the two brothers made separate plots to kill the usurper Amulius. Romulus knew he could not beat Amulius in battle on the battlefield, so then he plotted to kill the king at a place and time of his choosing. Sneaking into the palace of Amulius, Romulus then slew the king. Numitor then set about calming the fears of the palace, lest the guards attempt violence against the twins. He lied and said that an enemy had attacked the palace as to direct the guards' attentions to the citadel. About this time, Remus came to the palace, and Numitor, operating as mediator, recounted the evils of the late king to the palace and how he tried to destroy the twins and stole the throne from his brother. By this time, the twins were both present and shouting to the crowd, named Numitor as the rightful heir to the throne of Alba. If there be any truth to this story, it doesn't seem like it took a whole lot of convincing to turn the people's minds away from Amulius to accepting their new and rightful king, Numitor. With Alba now made right with the kingship of Numitor, the twins, being of royal blood, were soon taken with the desire to found their own city. The population of Alba was already far too large as well. It was at this point that the desire for kingly power overtook both brothers, and a fight broke out over who should be the ruler of the new city. Being unable to decide civilly, it was decided that the gods should choose between the two and who should give to the new city its name and who should rule it. Augury is the only way to decide this question fairly. So in the next video, we will see the outcome of the augury and which one of the twins will rule.